Hey everybody, Matumbo here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are playing some more historic here on Magic Arena, and we have quite a treat for you today. I feel like after seeing this deck get pulled from our many Decktember submissions, so I'm actually, after going through and reading the write-up on this deck, this actually looks pretty cool. So I'm, again, pretty excited to play this. But real quick, I want to just remind everybody, if you're not familiar with what Decktember is, what I'm doing is I am playing all viewer submitted decks this month as a way to say thank you so much for helping to grow the channel and the community. I'm just so thankful for each and every one of you coming by and checking out the videos each and every day that we put them up, and and especially all of you guys who also joined the Discord channel. Each and every one. Any type of interaction you've been doing, again, thank you so much. So again, welcome back to Decktember. And if you want to be considered for a Decktember video, all you have to do, join the Discord, head down to the Decktember channel in that Discord, and check out the pin post and just watch, read the template on how to submit your deck. So with that being said, again, we're about to hop into this deck, but real quick before we do, just want to remind everybody, if you enjoy the video and the channel, please comment, like, and subscribe. And yeah, check out all the cool links down below. So let's hop right into today's deck. And we are playing Creativity Creator. So don't really know what to call you. You have a couple names listed here. It says your name is Michael's Magic, but then it also says your name is Becuz Skill. So we're just going to call you Becuz Skill. So again, thank you, Becuz Skill, for submitting this deck. Like I said, super excited about this, especially because of the write-up on how this deck works. Really looks like a lot of fun. So basically how this deck works is this is an Indomitable Creativity deck. Indomitable Creativity, if you're not familiar, is 3 mana and X. It says destroy X target artifacts and or creatures. And for each permanent destroyed this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until an artifact or creature card is revealed and exiles that card. Those players put the exiled cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle their libraries. So basically what this says, the whole TLDR about this is we're going to target X amount of creatures or artifacts, and then if we target our own things, which we are, we're just going to flip over cards until we flip over that many creatures, because we're not really playing any artifacts. So we're just going to pretend that it only says creatures, and we're just going to be flipping cards over until we hit that many creatures that we destroy of our own. So as you can see, we're only playing 5 creatures in the deck. We're playing 4 Angrath's Marauders and 1 Terror of the Peaks. So Angrath's Marauder is a 7 mana 4/4. It says if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player. And then Terror of the Peaks, everybody's favorite M21 card, or at least everybody's favorite M21 Mythic. It is a 5 mana 5/4 flyer. That basically just says whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So let's pretend we Indomitable Creativity for 5, and we're going to hit our Terror of the Peaks and all of our Angrath's Marauders, and then Terror of the Peaks is going to trigger 4 times for all the Angrath's Marauders, and these Angrath's Marauders are going to deal 4 damage, doubled 4 times. So yeah, that's a lot of damage. I think that's what, 64 damage. So 4 into 8 into 16 into 32 into 64. Yeah. So 64 damage for each trigger. And that's a lot of damage. So let's just look at this deck. This deck really is just a bunch of token creation into a little bit of ramp, so we can cast this Indomitable Creativity on curve. So we have 4 copies of Satyr's Cunning. This is just a 1 mana card. It does have escape, so we can cast it multiple times if we have cards in the graveyard, but this just creates a 1/1 red creature that can't block. So this is going to be a token that we can target with the Indomitable Creativity. We have 4 copies of Shock for removal and also damage, because if we have a bunch of Angrath's Marauders in play, maybe we don't hit Terror of the Peaks, we can just shock them and deal damage to them. Same goes for Spikefield Hazard. We can play this as a land, or we can just deal the damage and then double it a whole bunch of times. We have 4 copies each of Dragon Fodder and Forbidden Friendship. These are essentially the same thing. These each make 2 tokens. The Forbidden Friendship actually makes one of them have haste, so we can attack for 1 the turn we cast it. But these each make 2 tokens, which is good. We have 2 copies of Tybalt. Tybalt is a 3-mana planeswalker. Our opponents can't gain life, so it does have a passive ability. But then it also has a -2 ability that says create a 1/1 red devil creature token, and then whenever that creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. So this is another way to make tokens. We also have 2 copies of Valakut Awakening. So this card is actually pretty important in this deck, because if we happen to draw these creatures, which we never want these in our hands, you know, we want the Terror of the Peaks not in our hand, we want them in our library. So we would use Valakut Awakening, cast it, put these back in our library, draw different cards to replace them. That way we're not stuck with these. So again, this is pretty important in that aspect. One of, I feel like, probably the most important card, besides Indomitable Creativity, obviously, Ironcrag Feat. So for 4 mana, this gives us 7 mana. So on turn 4, this is going to give us the potential to cast Indomitable Creativity for 4. So if we were to do Satyr's Cunning on 1, Dragon Fodder on 2, that's 3 tokens on turn 2 that we have. And then on turn 3, maybe we play Tybalt, and so that's 4 tokens. And then the next turn, we can Ironcrag Feat for Indomitable Creativity for 4 tokens, hit all 4 of our tokens, and then we're going to hit any combination of Engrass Marauders and or Terror of the Peaks, and that should kill our opponent right there. So yeah, really, really good combo synergy. And then we have 1 copy of Luca, it looks like. So Luca, the +1 ability is what we're really, we don't really care about this. We get to exile the top 3 cards, and then we can cast cards. We don't really care. We care about the -2 ability in this. This is exile target creature you control. So again, a token, and then we reveal cards from the top of our library until we reveal a creature card with higher mana cost, which is going to be all of our creatures because tokens don't have a casting cost, and we get to put those into play for free. So that is what that does. Notably, lands, we have 22 copies of lands in our deck. We have 14 mountains, 4 Forgotten Caves for cycling. And then this is an interesting card, Dwarven Mine. This is a mountain, but it does say when it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 other mountains. And when it enters the battlefield untapped, you get to create a 1/1 red dwarf creature for free. So we, you know, as we were saying, we were ramping up. We were going Satyr's Cunning on 1, Dragon Fodder on 2. On 3, we have Tybalt. And then maybe even on turn 4, we play our Dwarven Mine. And those first 3 lands we played were mountains. This comes into play untapped, and we get a free token. So that is that. So we're going to give this deck a shot. Again, a huge thank you to our friend Becuz Skill for submitting this deck list. It does look like a lot of fun. We're going to play a couple games, or 3 games, see how this deck works, make some changes, hop back in, and then play our version. So again, if you want to be considered for Decktember, head over to the Discord channel, submit your deck list in the Decktember channel again. So thank you so much. Let's hop into the gameplay, and we will see you guys here in just a few minutes. All right. I'm stoked. This deck looks really fun. Again, a huge shout out to I've reiterated the point in the Discord multiple times, but I'm gonna read it. Your name is Becuz Skill. So thank you, Becuz Skill, for sending this this deck over. All right, well, we have a lot of ways to make tokens here. Merfolk. I don't like that. Well, I think it's imperative that we get that off the board, right? I think game 1 is not going to go too well. All right, well. You know what? I think we're just going to have to ignore. Could double block here. Now we can no longer double block. Oh, I don't even think... Oh, these can block. No attacks. So if we draw a mountain, we're going to do crazy things. Also, if we don't die, right? Also, if we don't die. I'm not going to block. I'm just going to think about blocking. All right, mountain off the top. Let's do a deck. You are not a mountain. So this creature cannot block. And it's good to note that they most likely have a... Oh, they just have a trickster in their hand. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we're probably going to block two things. Well, that's all we could do is block. And we take exact lethal. God, we were going to do it next turn. Oh, we were going to do it next turn, too. Oh, Spectre. Spectre, Spectre, Spectre. Why wouldn't you let us have our fun? Oh, man. But yeah, so we almost had it on game one. So, all right, let's see if we can get into game two. All right, well, we're back to our regularly scheduled hydrating today. I'm a little disappointed. Nobody called me out on the hydrate yesterday. I was actually expecting it. Well, as of right now, as of recording the video. Opponent goes first. We're going to keep... Well, hello. Galvery. They probably think we're on either burn or... Oh, well. No. Enjoy. Rogues, rogues, rogues. Just, we can't allow these rogues to hit the battlefield, right? Especially that one. That's a bad one. I mean, that's that's a bad one as well. How many cards are we up to? 7 already. Unfortunate. Well. I'm not going to attack into any instant rogues here. I think here we are actually going to... They might counter this. Okay. So I wonder if they have another one in their hand. The shock actually gives us a little bit of leeway here. We can actually attack. Alright, end turn. Should have cast the Forbidden Friendship that turn, but they're drawing a lot of land. 3 is more than 2 the last time I checked, so we are currently winning this race. Brazen Borrower. McFizzle. So it's actually pretty good. They, all right, well, we've got them empty-handed. We're not attacking. We're not going to trade one of our creatures for... We just... They keep drawing action. No attacks. I think they drew another Drown in the lock. No attacks. I think here I'd want to draw a Luca. Right? We only have the one. I'm gonna swing. I think it's time. They have another Drown in the lock. Oh, so they're playing Lofty Denials as well. Well, we're just gonna do the old-fashioned plan of make a bunch of tokens, right? Wow, they are drawing all of their counter spells. Holy smokes. Enjoy. So you're at 2 now. Yeah, I was about to say. Well, we're gonna take that win, obviously, because I don't know what they were thinking there. I don't know why you thought Thoughtseize into potentially losing. So, all right, well, good game. Good game. All right, on to game number 3. Last game with the original version. We are 1-1, so have not got to see the deck go crazy, but yeah, I'm still liking this deck. We just went token crazy. So I don't hate having a Marauder in our hand. I think I'm going to keep this, right? So we are drawing a lot of tap lands. I wonder if this is a Neostorm. It very well could be a Neostorm deck. I feel like we're going to cycle this now because we might draw like a fodder or something. We did not. Worth noting. This is a Simic Flash deck. So I wonder if we run this out here for 1. They have to counter this, right? least we get to force through a damage that way by casting it now. Search for Escanta. So I feel like they have another sensor, right? Feel like they have another sensor. So, what's the play here? I'm only going to do this for 3, just in case sensor is happening. Okay. We didn't hit any Terror of the Peaks. But it only takes one of these Angrat's Marauders getting through. Oh my god, they're playing Fog. What is happening right now? They actually have Root Snares in their deck. Oh my god, what is our life right now? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Oh, it's only 2 cards? I thought it was 3 for some reason. I can't believe. Each one of these Marauders is 32 damage. We're gonna see another Narset probably. They might have one. Oh, okay, so this turns into 4, into 8, into 16. Okie dokie. Take 16. Oh my gosh. That is great. I was actually getting worried about how we were going to beat a Turbo Fog deck with this. I did not expect to be playing against a Turbo Fog deck. I don't even remember the last time I saw one of those was. So, yeah. Shock for 16. Good game. Let's talk about this deck. All right. So, this deck. All right. Let's talk about it. So, starting off 2-1, I am pretty impressed with this deck so far. Not gonna lie there. I do feel like we got a little bit of help from our opponents, at least in that second game against the Rogue deck. But really, let's talk about what we think about this. I do think the idea is actually really good. But, you know, overall, you know, even though we went 2-1 with the deck, I don't know what we can change. You know, just thinking about it, because my first thoughts are to come in here and try to even add more mana acceleration in here. Stuff like Mind Stone, stuff like Wily Goblin comes to mind, because Wily Goblin makes, you know, in itself as a creature, but then it also makes a treasure token, which could either add as mana or it could add as a Indomitable Creativity target, because it is an artifact. But then when you go in to add stuff like that into this deck, you actually run into the issue that those are now 2 additional targets for the Indomitable Creativity, because it hits creatures and it hits artifacts in your deck. So you don't necessarily want to Indomitable's Creativity for, let's say, 3 or 4, and then flip over, you know, 2 more Wily Goblins and a Mind Stone, then you're just like, okay, well, what did I just waste my time doing? And then your opponent realizes what you're doing, and then nothing really happens. And then at the same time, you could even do something like, okay, well, let's say we do it for 3, and this is hypothetically if we were playing these cards. Let's say you creativity for 3, you hit a Terror of the Peaks and 2 Wily Goblins, or Terror of the Peaks, Wily Goblin, Mind Stone. You're only dealing 1 damage. Your opponent sees again what you're trying to do, and then just ruins your day. So I don't think we can do that. What I do think we need to at first glance, I think we need to do is I think we need to add at least another Terror of the Peaks in the deck. Terror of the Peaks is always going to be a good card in this type of deck because it's easier for us to cast as a threat because it's a 5-drop. And then at the same time, even if we were to creativity and hit multiples of those, then at that point we're dealing. So let's say we hit 2 of those, we're hitting for 10 because they each are going to trigger each other. We're going to be dealing 10. If we hit 3 of them, they're each going to be triggering 10. So that would be 30 damage. So it's going to be good in multiples. So that's going to be somewhere where we're actually going to add. Yes, the Angrat's Marauders does help double and stuff, which is it's a plus. It's just something that is a little bit extra. But as far as the combination with Tibalt, so it's a cool interaction, and I understand the interaction here. So in case you're wondering, so Tibalt, you get the token. When the token dies, you get to deal a damage. So let's say we cast Indomitable Creativity for 4, sack, and we target 1 token. So then this 1 token now is that 1 damage. It actually goes on the stack because this creativity is actually going to resolve first. So what's going to happen is all 4 creatures are going to come into play. We're going to get a Angrat's Marauder. Well, let's say we hit 4 Angrat's Marauders. Then this 1 damage is going to resolve, and then it's going to double 4 times. So 2, 4, 8, 16. So that 1 turns into 16, but at that point we're probably going to win anyway because we're probably going to hit Terror of the Peaks in 3 of these. So I don't think this deck actually needs Tibalt. I think there is a better option besides Tibalt. And then also, I'm not a big fan of Dwarven Mine in this deck. I do think this is great interaction in regards to being able to create a 1/1 token for free when this comes into play untapped. But in order for this to come into play untapped, we do have to have 3 other mountains in the deck. So, hey, Jinx. So, seeing as how we were drawing, we were having to rely on spike field hazards in play and Forgotten Caves and whatnot. So I don't think the Dwarven Mines are actually going to make the cut. I think we're going to look at something a little bit different. So let's, and we didn't really get to cast Luca. That's another thing too. Luca is kind of good, but it could kind of be not as good at the same time. So let's hop into our Magic Time Machine and let's rethink some of these cards we're going to be playing, and we'll be right back. All right, so here is Creativity Creator version 2, and yeah, we've just made a few changes. So again, we really had to reevaluate how we were making tokens. Now, I know you might question some of these decisions, but let me at least explain myself first. Like we'd already mentioned, Terror of the Peaks is good in multiples. So we upped it to 3 Terror of the Peaks. What we did, we got rid of Tibalt. So we're going to switch out Tibalt for Chandra. Now, I know this is almost the exact same thing, but the reasoning behind Chandra here is I feel like Chandra becomes more of a target as opposed to Tibalt. Chandra is a little bit harder to kill also because with Tibalt, we're playing Tibalt and he's immediately going down to 3 loyalty. Whereas opposed, Chandra gets to make 2, get in for 2, and then she's still at 4. So 4 loyalty obviously is a little harder to deal with than 3. And then at the same time, she still does the same thing that Tibalt does minus the extra damage from the creatures dying. But this is the turn that we're going to Indomitable Creativity, we're going to get 2 tokens off of Chandra, regardless of what happens. So again, this is good because of, Tibalt's going to come down. minus, and then if he lives the next turn when we creativity, we're going to minus again. So that's a net of 2 tokens. And then this does the same thing. This provides us 2 tokens. However, this also puts us in a pretty cool spot where Chandra can actually protect herself a little bit by adding counters to herself. But then if we need token generators, maybe they wipe the board with us, and then we just need to be able to recast tokens or get more tokens in play. We actually can -2, and then we can -2 and then recast token generators. And then we can also -2 and cast Valakut Awakening if we need to even draw more cards. And I'm fairly positive that since this is a next spell, we can then -2 to cast Indomitable Creativity from our graveyard. I'd have to test this, but I'm fairly positive this interaction work. If not, then that fault's on me. But I still do feel like the benefits from being able to recast our token generators and our burn spells from our graveyard is actually going to be beneficial in this deck. So again, oh, and then one last thing, and this was really based on how we played against that rogue deck. So against that rogue deck, we had a ton of tokens in play, and I feel like we actually could have closed the game out a little bit quicker if we had Castle Embereth in play. So this actually lets us pump all of our creatures +1/+0. So if we are able just to go wide, we can overrun them with this as well. So there is that. I'm still not 100% sold on Forgotten Cave, but I do understand why it's in here for cycling, thinning the deck out, and whatnot. So we did decide to leave this in here. I did almost leave the Dwarven Mines in and take out the caves instead, but I do want to at least give these another shot. So we're gonna play our games with these in and hopefully do that. So yeah, so again, we took out the 1 Luca. I didn't really feel like the 1 Luca was going to make a difference. For example, if we activate Luca, sack a token, we're only going to really hit a Terror of the Peaks or an Angrass Marauder, and then at that point, nothing really happens. So I just didn't really feel like it was worth it at that point. So yeah, so really 4 Chandras. We played with the numbers a little bit, down to 3, down to 3. Yeah, so this is the deck. So this is what we're going to play. So let's hop into the gameplay, and we will see you guys at the wrap up. All right, so we're back. We're playing some games. I do want to let you guys know I did go and play against Sparky because I wanted to see if the buyback from Chandra and Indomitable Creativity works, and it does. So I was correct. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so opponent's going to go first. We are going to... Oh, really thinking about playing the cave first. But I think we are going to... Let's see... Yep, I think we should be good here. They'll probably try to play out a 2-1. That guy's got to go. You have to go, Mr. Cutthroat. So I think it's worth it, since we drew another one, to start pulling counters out of their hand. All right, Lofty Denial. He could have just Lofty Denialed because we had no mana. Could have just done it that way. Interesting. Let's do it again. So I don't know what they are thinking about here.
Anyone need a match? No. Too bad.
We're gonna force through some damage here, and I think we are gonna play this as a land. right, so that's fine. Give them a chance to counter this, or if this resolves, how do we do this? Do we pump it, or do we force through 2 damage? Because we do have another Chandra.
I've learned a bunch of new burn spells to try on you.
We're just going to force through the damage. They're going to be able to kill it with the Brazen Borrower, but that's fine.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
All right, introducing our good friend, the Brazen Borrower. Yeah, even if we would have just +0'd to the other +0. Oh, you're just going to ignore Chandra, are you? Sounds good. You have another, because we're going to shock this Brazen Bar. Okay, so you did have another one. All right, well, lucky for us.
Anyone need a fire started? Go get 'em, buddy.
Yeah, so I think they are going to try to race us. So if we draw a mountain, actually, that would be huge. But again, we're going to... We're going to shock Brazen Borrower.
Tell me if you've seen this one before.
Dragons don't have haste. Or goblins don't have haste, so we're not going to cast this yet. Cast it now. And then they're going to play this other Brazen Borrower. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to kill it. All right, down to 5. So I think we have lethal here regardless of what happens.
Fiery friends.
So I don't think they can actually... I don't think there's any one card that stops this Castle Embereth unless they have like a Tail's End or something, right? Tail's End would be pretty bad. But if they have a Tail's End, yeah. Okay, well, that's one way to win. One way to win. So I had to do it specifically that way. And some of you might be saying in the comments, you know, why? Well, if we Ironcrag Feet into Ingrass Marauders, they might have a Lofty Denial and we can't pay for it at that point. And then we still probably win, but this lets us win now. So, all right, well, on to game 2 or game 5, however you look at it. All right. Well, we beat Mono Blue Tempo, Aggro, however you want to look at it. We beat it. I hate that deck, so felt good to beat that deck. And they were probably thinking, what the heck is this guy playing, right? So, what are we doing? What are we doing? So I think we're going to start off with this Forgotten Cave. I think I value the Valakut Awakening a little bit more since we have the mana to cast. All right, let's get some tokens. So they're going to be on some kind of 4-color, oh, Thoughtseize. Goodbye, Chandra. Goodbye forever. All right, goodbye, Chandra. All right, well, we are going to Valakut Awakening. All right, 4-color shenanigans. I wonder if this is one of the decks from the tournament this weekend. I don't think they're playing any kind of Spell Pierce effects. We're going to draw 4 cards. All right, well. Well. All right, get in for 3. So I'm assuming we're probably going to see some kind of Uro or Nissa. Oh, this is entirely not what we thought it was. So you know what's probably going to happen? We are probably going to get... We're probably going to get ultimatumed here. That's what I'm imagining. You know what? I think we have to say goodbye to our non-Gabo friends. Alright, well. Deal 8 damage. And then put them at 1. No, I think we have to do this, right? I hope I didn't mismath this. 8 would have put them at 3, then we attack. They block 1. Oh. Easy peasy. Scoops magoops. Did we have fun? Oh, we had all the fun. So, all right. Good game. Good game. Yeah, luckily they were on 6 mana there, but taking them off of the mana fixing obviously helped. But yeah, I'm just still trying to math that, right? 8 damage. We attack, they block 1, and they take 2, they're at 1. So we couldn't, I don't think there's any way that we killed them that turn. So opponent goes first. If we draw some token makers, I feel like this is actually a pretty decent... Oh, yes. Oh, there is a token maker. Do we kill this now? Do we kill this now? Do we wait for them to attack? I think we wait for them to attack, right? This is probably Mardu vehicles. So if we wait for them to attack, we actually get 2 cards off of this. Ginger Brute. What? What the brute? Another Bomat carrier. Now let's go ahead and get rid of one of you. Oh, well. So I know as crazy as it sounds, I think we have to keep up this hazard because I feel like they're going to play +2/+2 to all of their artifacts. And I really want to kill this Bowmat Courier if that's the case. Oh no. Scrap Heap Scrounger. We were wrong. Let's do it again. Do you want that one card? You want to trade 2 for 1? They do want to trade. They just got rid of 2 Ginger Brutes for that one card. All right, so by playing this Valakut land first, this is going to enable Ironcrag Feet next turn. Unblockable. I don't like that. Do we block? I don't think we do. So we double block, the Scrapping Scrounger dies, but then it could just come back multiple times over and over. So Servo Exhibition. I mean, I think we just go for this. X equals 2. I feel like regardless what we get, it's going to be pretty good. So we get to deal 8 damage. And then next turn we get to deal 10 damage. That seems really good. That seems really good. Wow, this deck, I did not expect this at all. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I thought this was just gonna be jank fun, but it's fun and it's jank and it's working. So, okay, sweet. Next game. All right, it is time for the final boss. Man, that Mardu deck that we were just playing against. Interesting. I haven't seen a version that plays Ginger Brute. So I do wonder if they were playing that white enchantment that gives all of their artifact creatures +2/+2. And then what were they playing for red and black? We saw white. We saw the Servo Exhibition. This is like almost a perfect draw, right? Start with this. Do we get punished? I think we just have to play assuming we're going to just go on curve, right? Dragon Fodder into Chandra into Indomitable Creativity for 4. Oh, Island. Elementals. Risen Reef? We're going to see a Risen Reef? Panharmonicon, what? Oh, this is gonna... Not sure what is about to happen. I think ideally what we want to see here is just the big green elemental. Right? Nothing that gets rid of Chandra or our tokens. Uro is fine. Gain 6. Oh, so this is actually Teamer Panharmonicon. All right, well, we're going to potentially do it here, right? So we attack first, right? We attack because we're not going to have any creatures in play. They block, they go to 19. Yeah. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh yeah, there we go. All the damage. Yes. Yes. This is amazing. Oh, this is my new favorite deck. Oh, that was 96 damage that we just got to deal, even though we only saw one trigger for 32. Yeah. So, oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. All right. All right. Can't get any better than that. All right. Let's talk about it in the wrap up. All right, everybody, welcome back to the wrap up. And this deck was a lot of fun. We managed to go 2-1 in our original version, and then 4-0 with this, which is something I'm not even a joke. I did not expect this at all. I do feel like we got really lucky with our pairings. Our opponents really didn't play, I would say, very super interactive decks with us, which is obviously really beneficial whenever you're playing a combo deck. Or a deck that's just trying to, you know, combo off in some way. This isn't necessarily, I would say, a combo deck, but it does win, you know, by using a combination of cards. But I wouldn't call this a combo deck. But again, you don't want interaction against you when you're trying to do things like this. So with them removing tokens, that would prevent us from, you know, casting creativity and whatnot. And so again, our opponents were just kind of doing their own thing, and we were doing our own thing, and we were able to just do our thing faster than their thing. So one of which being obviously that 4-color deck. We were able to essentially kill them before they could do anything crazy. And yeah, and then that last game that we just had there, we pretty much had like the perfect curve draw. And yeah, you know, luckily they didn't have any like creature bounce in their Panharmonicon deck. Really benefited us. So yeah, we did beat mono blue. We did beat rogues. So we saw a bunch of different decks that we beat, and yeah, I felt like it was great. So the changes we made, we're just going to kind of flip back and forth here. As you can tell, we got rid of Luca, we got rid of Tybalt, changed the number on some of the creatures. We upped the count of Terror of the Peaks up to 3. We threw in 4 Chandras. We changed the land count a little bit. I really feel like the way that this deck works now, I feel like is functionally a little bit better. I do feel like the draws are going to be a little more consistent. And I think that is just going to benefit us in the long run. Again, the main thing I do feel like is super important in this deck, Terror of the Peaks. And Terror of the Peaks is one of those cards where we don't necessarily mind drawing Terror of the Peaks. Yes, it does work better in this deck if we can creativity out, but it's not the end of the world if we draw one and we can just cast it for 5 mana. So, and this might have been the case where, you know, the person who submitted this deck is maybe they only had one of them in their collection, but again, I don't know. That wasn't included in the write-up, so it's very possible that they only had one, but you never know. I would imagine they probably had more than one, and maybe they just felt like playing one was the right call, because at that point you can also, again, Indomitable Creativity for 3 or 4, just hit Angrass Marauders, and then you could just burn them out with a shock or a combination of shock and Spikefield Hazard. So yeah, I did love the addition of the Castle Embrits. I think they do help out. Again, I don't think the mines that were in here were actually something that really is going to come into play that often untapped to make the token. And I feel like if they do, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. So yeah, that's really my thoughts of the deck. Let me know if I maybe should have added anything. Again, you know, we did consider adding cards like Wily Goblin, Mind Stone, just to help speed the deck up. But then again, we don't want to be hitting those cards with the Indomitable Creativity. So that's why they were not included. We wanted to keep with sorcery type of token generation. Also thought about potentially putting in like Transmogrify. And he had mentioned that in his write-up as well, as Transmogrify was something that could potentially be put in the deck. But then at that point, that's really only a one of, you're only trading one token for one creature. And then that's the same as Luca. It just costs one less mana. So I don't really feel like it belongs in this deck. And then the last thing that he had mentioned was the fact that you could potentially put Fire Prophecy in this deck in order to put cards back in your deck. If you were to draw something like a Tear of the Peaks or an Ingrath Marauders, and that's a way to get out of your hand. But then if you play Fire Prophecy in the deck instead of Valakut Awakening, then the mana fixing gets kind of awkward because, again, Valakut Awakening can also double as a land. So, yeah. So that is the deck. So again, thank you so much, Becuz Skill, for submitting this deck. Really, really, really fun deck. I actually highly recommend playing this. This is kind of an expensive deck because of the fact you have 4 mythics that you're probably not going to play in any other decks in the form of Indomitable Creativity. I don't really feel like this really is a card that's going to see, like I said, play in many other decks. There's one deck that I do want to play this in. I haven't gotten around to building it yet, but it was an idea that I've had for a while. But other than that, I mean, I'm not going to bore you with that because, again, I don't want to recommend playing a card that you probably are not going to build around. And I don't want you wasting wild cards. So if you happen to have these, go for it. This is a great deck. This is fun. But I'm not sure if it would climb the ranked mode. All right. Again, thank you so much. Another day of Decktember down. Again, if you want to be considered for Decktember, join the Discord. Head down to the Decktember channel and check out the pin post and submit your list in the format that we are asking for. And maybe your deck will be featured just like this deck is. And then again, if you enjoy the channel, please leave a comment. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, bell icon, leave a comment down below, and check out all the cool links down below. So, all right, with that being said, everybody, please stay safe. We will see you next time. Remember, this channel would not exist without such amazing viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel and helping grow the community. And a very big special thank you to the Patreons listed here for supporting the channel.